Let's hear from Genevieve then, from London on line 1.
Genevieve, good morning.
Good morning, Matthew.
So what do you think of this then? Good idea?
Well, no, I don't, because all these people are talking in a grandiose way about businessmen, married couples, and people who go for a week here and a week there to Benidorm or Malaga or somewhere. I'm a grandmother. My family, it's family, an enormous number of people travel to see their families.
Yes.
In this day and age, families are all over the world.
And as you do so, Genevieve, are you aware that as you visit your family abroad, you're spraying out carbon all over the place, very bad for the planet, and maybe in the long term that your families and future generations, there might not be a planet for them?
Well, I have great faith in the human race, and we've survived all kinds of terrible calamities in the old days, and frankly, I'd rather see my granddaughter and have her great-great-grandchildren worry about global warming and everything. You know, it's been planned, it's been said over and over and over again. The end of the world is coming.
Genevieve, are you related to John Redwood?
No, but I wish I was, for instance.
You're with him, because he actually says, and the great thorn in David Cameron's side, he actually says this is all nonsense and none of it's actually going to happen. Thank you for the call, Genevieve. I appreciate it. You're absolutely right. Lots of people with holiday homes abroad, relatives abroad, it's going to hit them. Let's have another, please.
This is James then, from London on line 3.
James, good morning.
Good morning, Matthew. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Good idea, is it, James?
I think it's a good idea, but one thing I wanted to ask, is it like a progressive tax system, so that each flight that you get, the second flight costs more in tax, the third flight costs more in tax, and it progresses in that way? So by the time the rich person has their 5th ski trip to the Alps, paying an absolute fortune.
James, let's find out from Ed, shall we?
Well, once you've got your carbon allowance, I've now completely destroyed our proposals. Once you've got your carbon allowance, I'm not sure it's progressive. I think you pay an extra tax for every extra flight you fly. So it's progressive in the sense that if you fly 100 times a year, you're going to pay 100 times more tax than somebody who flies once a year. But I think it'll probably be the same tax, because otherwise it would be quite complicated.
James, does it bother you that, say, the person that travels 100 times a year has paid 100 times more tax, that none of that money will go into saving the planet and will be used to help families and married couples pay less tax?
Yes, it does bother me. It should be going into green initiatives. It should be a progressive tax, so it costs more every time you fly. And also, why can't you have like an eBay setup where if I have a flight, you give me my flight per year and I don't want to go, I can sell it to the highest bidder.
Trade our air miles,
well,
our carbon miles.
The eBay point is quite interesting, because that is certainly a lot of thinking is going into this idea of you have a personal carbon allowance, so you're allowed to emit 5 tonnes a year, and if you only emit 3, you can sell your 2 tonnes.
This is being discussed on both sides.
Yeah, David Miliband, the Environment Secretary, is very much in favour of that, and this idea of your one free flight is sort of a version of that, but I won't talk too much more about it, otherwise my hands will go mad. But I just am quite interested that people want this money spent on the environment, because the point is...
Because the next thing you know, you're going to be doing this and using all the money to pay for nuclear weapons, which will be even more useless, won't it? I mean,
what a good idea.
Oh, no! Why do I give him all these winning ideas? James, thank you for the call. Let's have one more before the break.
OK, this is Sue from London on line 4.
Sue, good morning.
Good morning, Matthew.
So, pay-as-you-burn aviation fuel. Good idea?
No, I think it's just another tax to restrict the poor, and the rich won't be affected at all. And it seems lately that that's just the politicians' answer to everything and anything is, well, let's just pile more tax on the people.
Well then, Sue, how do you persuade people not to get on planet-destroying aeroplanes?
I think they should use the money for people, I don't know, to come up with a new invention and see what they can do to actually do something properly. Like Richard Branson apparently is looking into ways of making better fuel to power the planes. I mean, why can't they use the money in a more positive way?
Giant rubber band type things, firing people across the channel. It's an idea, isn't it?
Well, this is the point. I mean, Sue's making a point which I think is very important, which is that she's clearly cynical about the use that politicians put this tax
money. About hitting the poor, that was her first point. It's the poor that suffer the most.
And that's why, if you're going to tax people to fly, you should try and reduce their taxes elsewhere so they're not paying more tax overall, which is why we hope it won't be a regressive tax. Stop smiling at me like that.
We'll leave that one there for now. Thank you very much for all your calls and your cynicism. It's always appreciated.